Resilience is not what most people think it is. It's rarely loud. It's not dramatic recovery. It's not heroic rebuilding. True resilience is quiet continuity. It's what keeps moving when attention shifts. What absorbs disruption without needing reinvention. What holds shape when conditions change. Income systems only become resilient when they are built in the right order. Order is invisible, but it is everything. The same parts assembled in the wrong sequence create fragility. They appear to work, but only under favorable conditions. Pressure reveals what order hides. Traffic spikes expose weak trust. Market shifts expose shallow positioning. Time exposes what was never designed to last. This is why many income structures feel strong in growth phases and collapse in transitions. They were not built wrong. They were built prematurely. The build order of a resilient income system begins with containment, not expansion. Before reach, there must be shape. Before scale, there must be boundaries. Before automation, there must be clarity. Without containment, growth becomes force instead of flow. And force always breaks what flow would have strengthened. Containment is the phase where value is defined and protected. It's where positioning is narrowed, promises are stabilized, and outcomes are specified. Not what you offer, but what you actually cause. Without this, every next layer rests on ambiguity. And ambiguity is not neutral. It multiplies friction. When containment is weak, every later upgrade compensates. Messaging becomes heavier. Selling becomes more emotional. Support becomes more manual. You don't notice it as a structural problem. You experience it as effort. The second layer is consistency. Consistency is not about showing up. It's about repeating the same causal path long enough for behavior to become data. A resilient system is not one that works once. It's one that behaves predictably. Predictability is what allows correction. And correction is what allows survival. In this stage, you are not optimizing. You are observing. You are letting the same inputs run through the same structure so the system can reveal itself. This is where most builders sabotage resilience. They keep changing before anything has time to speak. Without consistency, you don't build a system. You build a sequence of experiments that never mature into structure. Once behavior is visible, the third layer emerges: feedback. Feedback turns activity into intelligence. It tells the system what is happening without requiring interpretation. It closes loops. It exposes drop-offs. It highlights strain. It makes performance readable. Resilient systems are not strong because they are perfect. They are strong because they can see. When feedback is missing, systems become emotional. Decisions are driven by spikes, not patterns. Problems are addressed after damage, not at deviation. Builders become reactive because the structure has no early warning capability. Feedback creates that capability. It allows small corrections before large consequences. It gives the system memory, and memory is the root of resilience. Only after containment, consistency, and feedback are in place does the fourth layer make sense: load. Load is where most people start. More traffic, more offers, more content, more automation. But load applied too early doesn't test a system. It distorts it. When load is introduced at the right time, it doesn't just increase results. It reveals capacity. It shows where flow tightens, where handoffs fail, where standards blur, where assumptions break. Load is diagnostic. In resilient build order, load is not for growth. It is for strengthening. It is used to locate weak components so they can be reinforced while the system is still small enough to change. This is where structural maturity begins. You stop reacting to outcomes and start responding to strain. You don't chase more. You stabilize better. After load comes separation. Separation is where roles detach from people, where functions are defined, where handoffs are formalized, where continuity moves out of memory and into structure. This is where systems stop depending on presence. Processes emerge. Interfaces clarify. Responsibilities narrow. Instead of one intelligence holding everything together, the structure itself begins to coordinate behavior. Separation is not delegation. It is decoupling. It removes the need for central control by embedding direction into design. This layer is what turns effort into architecture. Only now does leverage become appropriate. Automation, partnerships, paid traffic, tool stacks, and scale strategies only compound what already exists. When introduced too early, they magnify fragility. When introduced at the right time, they multiply stability. At this stage, leverage doesn't create income. It amplifies it. Because the system already contains value, behaves consistently, sees itself clearly, absorbs load, and operates without dependence, leverage no longer creates chaos. It accelerates coherence. And finally, the last layer, circulation. Circulation is what allows income to move within the system instead of passing through it. Retention, expansion, reinforcement, learning, capital reuse, attention reuse, trust reuse. This is where income stops being transactional and starts becoming ecological. Resilient systems are not those that make money. They are those that keep value in motion, where outputs feed inputs, where customers become channels, where data becomes design, where results improve the machine that produced them. Circulation is what makes disruption survivable, because the system is not fed by one source. It is nourished by its own activity. When build order is wrong, circulation is impossible. Everything leaks outward. You are always rebuilding instead of reinforcing. When build order is right, every cycle thickens the structure. The danger is that these layers do not announce themselves. You can skip them and still see growth. But skipped layers don't disappear. They become invisible weaknesses, and invisible weaknesses are what cause delayed collapse. Resilient income systems are not built by speed. They are built by sequence. Each layer prepares the conditions for the next. Each reduces the cost of the one that follows. Each transfers stability forward. Containment gives shape. Consistency reveals behavior. Feedback creates intelligence. Load exposes capacity. Separation builds continuity. Leverage multiplies coherence. Circulation sustains life. This is the architecture of income that lasts. Not because it is protected from disruption, but because it is designed to metabolize it. And once a system can metabolize change, growth is no longer something you chase. It becomes something the structure knows how to absorb.